already. A lot of players feeling the heat this week, like Casemiro pushing back on the critiques of his recent performance at Manchester United.
Yeah, the scrutiny that comes with a club like that. He talked about that Liverpool game. Everyone was off that day. But he's saying overall this season he's been solid.
He even said, and I quote, "It was just one Liverpool game that wasn't good. Isn't that right? I think everyone on the team had a difficult time in that match. Publicly addressing it, good idea or makes it worse?"
Tough one. He's not afraid of criticism. Shows confidence. But could seem like he's passing the blame. Media can be brutal. It might just give them more to talk about. See how the fans react.
For sure. Okay, switching gears to another team that's struggling, Real Madrid. Their attack is sputtering, and Theo Walcott, former Arsenal, thinks he knows the fix.
Oh, Theo always got something to say. What's the solution this time?
He's all in on Alexander Isak, praising him, even comparing him to Thierry Henry. That's a high bar.
Whoa, Henry at Real. That'd be something. Isak has been turning heads, though, at Newcastle.
Yeah.
What does Walcott see? Real Madrid material.
Walcott is talking about his versatility, how effective he is up front, said, "If you put Isak in that Real Madrid team, he shapes the attack so well. His ability to play in numerous positions all across the front line makes him such a threat. It would create a really balanced Madrid team." So basically, too much focus on star power, not enough on tactics.
Interesting. Real Madrid loves those big names, but not always a good team fit.
Walcott didn't hold back on that either. Said, "Look at the current Real Madrid squad. They go for the Galacticos and buy these amazing talents, but sometimes don't play them in the right positions." So if you were Florentino Perez, president, calling Newcastle.
Tempting. Isak's in top form. But would he work in Ancelotti's system? Could they even get him from Newcastle? Important part of their attack. A lot of things to consider.
True. Not as simple as just buying the best player.
Okay, from potential transfers to a big departure, Gary Lineker leaving Match the Day after 25 years.
End of an era, right? He ices the show for a lot of people. Weird to think of it without him.
Didn't something happen last year with him? Remind me, why is he leaving now?
Oh, you're thinking of the controversy with his comments on the UK government's refugee policy. Big deal. Suspended from the BBC for a bit.
That's right. Big debate about famous people sharing opinions, especially when it impacts their work. Tricky situation.
It is. He's still doing other things with the BBC 2026 World Cup, but Match of the Day without him will be different. See who they get to fill those shoes.
Definitely. Okay, on the topic of legends, Cristiano Ronaldo just got an award for over 200 appearances with the Portugal national team. Dedication.
Amazing, especially now when so many players focus on their clubs. Ronaldo, though, always so patriotic, and he really made that clear in his speech. Completely. The thing that stood out to me, his comments on players who don't want to play for their national teams, called it baffling, shows how dedicated he is.
Totally. And he said he still wants to reach 1,000 career goals. Not many players have done that. Still going for it at this point in his career.
But he also talked about living in the moment, not just chasing goals. He said, "To be honest, I have to be blamed for that. In life, in football, even in the personal part, I try to live in the present moment. I think this is the most important thing for me." It's kind of a Zen attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, he's found that balance between goals and enjoying the journey. They're talking about achievements, Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or. But it's not just that, it's his comments after that are stirring things up.
Oh, the good stuff. What's got everyone talking?
He was pretty vocal about the Real Madrid players skipping the ceremony. Said, "I would have done that. I wouldn't like to take the focus away from the gala like that." Pretty bold, especially with all the rumors about why they weren't there.
Right. Remind me, who didn't go and why?
Some big names missing. Benzema, Modric, Vinicius Jr. A lot of people think it was a protest about where Vinicius Jr. placed in the voting. Felt he should have been higher. Not going was showing support and showing they were happy.
So more than just skipping a party, it's a message.
Exactly. Made things a little tense, especially with Rodri's comments pointing it out.
And his own Ballon d'Or picks have been raising eyebrows. Dani Carvajal second, Vinicius Jr. third.
Interesting choices, not the usual names you see at the top. Makes you wonder about how the Ballon d'Or works. Is it just individual skill, or should team success and overall contribution matter more?
Good point. And it makes what he said about Erling Haaland even more interesting. Thinks he's the only one who can challenge Messi and Ronaldo in the future. Big statement.
It is, but look at Haaland's numbers. He scores goals like crazy. A beast on the pitch.
Will be interesting to see if he can live up to that and reach the legendary status of those two. Okay, next. Big change for the Premier League. Manchester United has a new manager, Rúben Amorim.
The guy who brought Sporting Lisbon to the top. What are you thinking about this?
Well, he's known for adapting his tactics, getting the best out of his players, which is exactly what Manchester needs. But he's already saying he's going to start slow.
Yeah, he said, I know what I'm going to try to do at the beginning because you need to start with a structure you know. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, new team, new league, not a lot of practice time, international breaks, messing things up. Smart to go with something familiar. What do you think that familiar structure might be?
If I had guess, probably 3-4-3 formation. Worked well at Sporting. Solid defense, but can also switch to attack quickly.
So not giving up on attacking, just being practical. He also said, after that, you will adapt to the players that you have and, of course, some injuries. Maybe not. And see what kind of player you have in the defense or the attack, and it's something that in the next few weeks I will have in mind. Got a plan, but he's flexible.
Exactly. I like how he ended it. You can make whatever interpretation you want from this. Keeping us guessing, that's part of the fun.
Totally. Builds the excitement. While he's settling in, another manager making waves, and he's barely old enough to rent a car.
The new guy at Brighton, Roberto De Zerbi's successor. 31 years old, officially the youngest Premier League manager ever. He's not just there to break records, he's winning games.
Amazing. Already some big wins for Brighton, beat Everton, and get this, Manchester United.
Yeah, definitely shaking things up. Even Pep Guardiola, known for his tactics, is praising him. Some are even saying he's like a young Jurgen Klopp. Big praise.
Wow. Don't know much about him. Tell me more. What's his story? What kind of football can we expect from Brighton now?
Get this. Came up through Bayern Munich's academy, but retired young to be a coach. Pretty gutsy move.
That's crazy. Why give up playing so young?
Seems he's always loved the strategy part of football. More than just playing, wanted to be the one calling the shots.
That's cool. What kind of manager is he then?
He likes high-energy, aggressive football. Lots of pressure, attacking, and creating chances to score. Not afraid to take risks and go for the win.
Sounds like Brighton games are going to be exciting this season. Okay, talking about inspiring managers, Andrei Shevchenko, AC Milan legend, talked about how his old team is doing, and he had some really interesting things to say about leadership.
Shevchenko always has great insight. What did he say?
Emphasized that AC Milan needs consistency. They have the talent, but have to play well every week, which is hard for any team, especially ones with young players.
True. One thing to have a few great games, but got to do it all season.
Exactly. He specifically mentioned Rafael Leão, huge potential, but Shevchenko thinks he needs to step up and be a leader. But it's not just about scoring goals and playing flashy.
Interesting. What does he think makes a good leader in football?
He said, and I'm quoting, "A champion is not only someone who does important things in attack, but is a leader, someone who helps the team in difficult moments. So stepping up when things are tough, being the guy who keeps everyone going."
Powerful idea. It's more than just being good. It's about the whole team. Lifting them up when they need it.
Totally. Makes me think about another kind of leadership, one that goes beyond countries. We got to talk about Olivier Giroud. He's loving LA, playing for LAFC. He's got this plan to bring even more big names to the MLS.
Olivier. Always up to something. What's the plan?
He wants Antoine Griezmann to join him. Can you imagine?
That would be huge for the MLS. Griezmann's world class. Thinks he can actually make it happen.
He thinks Griezmann would do great in the MLS, especially in LA. He's talking about the lifestyle, the city, being part of a league that's getting better. He even said it would be great for him, for his family, for the fans of the club. He's a great player, a great teammate, and he has a fantastic mentality. I know he would enjoy playing and living in the United States. Los Angeles would be perfect for him. Sounds convincing.
Paints a nice picture, and it's true the MLS is getting more attention from European players. The level of play is going up, the lifestyle is good, and being part of something new is appealing.
It's not a retirement league anymore. But Griezmann is still playing well for Atletico Madrid. Would he really consider moving?
Hard to say. Lots to think about, his career goals, his family, if he wants to stay in Europe. But stranger things have happened.
You never know. Maybe in a few years, Griezmann and Giroud will be tearing it up in LA. Would be awesome to see. All right, before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's get back to what's happening right now.
Yeah, back down to earth. And Real Madrid has a tough one coming up. Champions League against Liverpool at Anfield. And they're missing some key players. Injuries.
Oh, that's right. Dani Carvajal, Eder Militão both hurt. That's rough for their defense, especially going against Liverpool. They can attack.
Yeah, and David Alaba is still out. They're going to be thin at the back. Could be a problem against Liverpool's front three.
But Ancelotti's been giving some of the younger guys a chance, right? What about that young defender, Raul Asensio? Looked good in that Osasuna game.
He did, and I'm hearing he might even start against Liverpool. Talk about a trial by fire going up against one of the best attacks in Europe.
That's pressure. But hey, maybe this is what makes a champion. Imagine that, Anfield, under the lights, the cop going crazy. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, chance to show what he's got. Who knows, maybe this is his breakout moment. A lot of great players had to go through tough times.
Talking about stepping up, Casemiro's comments about this season, he's ready to prove everyone wrong. Wants to show he can still play at the top level.
He's a fighter. Been here before.
No.
Remember when he first went to Real Madrid? Some people didn't think he was good enough for the Bernabeu. Show them, I think he can do it again.
That's what separates the good from the great, that belief in yourself. Reminds me of something Cristiano Ronaldo said. When I was 17 years old, I wanted to retire from the world of football. I was very sad and devastated. I had made many sacrifices and had no results. I wasn't progressing at all. The call I had with my dad was the most important moment of my professional life. Crazy to think. Cristiano Ronaldo almost quitting.
Hard to believe he's like the symbol of never giving up. But I guess even the best have those moments. Makes them more human.
Yeah, shows how important it is to have people who support you. His dad helped him through it and got him back to loving football. Imagine if Ronaldo had quit. What a loss for football.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like a reminder that everyone goes through tough times, and it's how you handle them that matters.
Right on. This idea of not giving up, doing better than people expect, we're seeing it a lot today. We talked about the new Brighton manager making history, another young manager doing the same thing, Bundesliga this time. Fabian Hürzeler, the 31-year-old who got St. Pauli promoted, some saying he's like a young Jurgen Klopp.
Hürzeler's story is something else. Retired from playing at 23 to be a coach. Risky move, but it worked out. His style, high energy, attack-minded, is getting noticed. He's one of the most talked about young managers out there.
Pretty inspiring. Doesn't care what people think, does his own thing, shows what you can do with passion, hard work, and going after what you want.
Good example for young players and coaches. Believe in yourself even when others don't, and be willing to take chances.
Totally. Okay, changing gears a bit. Remember how Rodri said he still follows La Liga? He said, "Since going to England, I feel it's my home. However, I always watch La Liga games and don't close any doors."
He's found a home in England, but it's cool he still cares about Spanish football. Makes me think about how these transfers affect players. It's not just a new team, it's a whole new culture.
Kind of like a cultural exchange. Gotta change how you see things, both on and off the pitch.
Definitely. And it makes the game better. Different styles, different strategies, all coming together. That's what makes football a global thing.
Speaking of global, what about the Messi effect on the MLS? It's been huge, hasn't it? Brought so much attention to the league, never seen anything like it.
Totally changed things.
Oh.
Not just because he's amazing on the field, which he is, but he's a global superstar. He's bringing in new fans, inspiring kids. The MLS is on the map now.
Crazy how one player can do that. And now everyone's wondering, what's next for the MLS? Can they use this to become a really big leaguer?
That's the question. They have the talent, things are getting better, and now the world is watching. This is a big moment for the MLS.
It's like we're seeing a shift in football. The big European clubs are still on top, but new teams are coming up, things are changing.
Exciting time to be a fan. New stars, new tactics, something new every week. Football never stops changing.
And it all comes back to that idea of not giving up, pushing limits, proving people wrong. Whether it's a new manager breaking records, a veteran proving he still got it, or a global superstar changing the game. Football keeps inspiring us. So much going on in football right now, it's kind of crazy. What stood out to you the most?
It's tough to pick one. I think it's how these stories all tie together, you know?
Yeah.
Like bigger trends in the sport. Casemiro wanting to prove himself at United. Ronaldo going for that 1,000th goal. They're veterans, showing they can still hang in a young man's game.
Yeah, fighting against the idea that you're too old to be great.
Right. And then you get these young managers, Amorim, the new Brighton guy, not afraid to try new things. Makes you think, are we seeing how tactics are going to change in the future?
And Shevchenko's take on leadership, it's not all about flashy plays, it's about being there for the team when it's tough. That really hit home for me.
Yeah, me too. Can't measure that in stats, but it makes such a difference for a team.
Almost like a secret ingredient, the thing that makes a good team great.
I like that. Secret ingredient. And who would have thought the MLS would be attracting so much international talent? Messi changed the game, and Giroud trying to get Griezmann. It's a long shot, but not impossible now.
It's amazing how different people see the MLS now compared to just a few years ago. Not a place to retire, but a place to play at a high level and be part of something big.
Shows how much the league has grown and where it wants to go.
Totally. This whole deep dive has been so much fun. We covered a lot: transfer rumors, controversial opinions, leadership, the future of the game.
Quite a journey. There's just so much to love about football.
Absolutely. Before we go, I want to give our listeners something to think about. Imagine you're in charge of a big club, ready to make a big signing. Who are you going after and why?
Good one. It's easy to talk about what other people do, but what would you do if you were in charge?
Exactly. So much to consider: talent, fit, potential, all that money. But that's what makes football great. So many possibilities, on and off the pitch.
For sure. And we can't wait to see what happens next.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you next time.